If I look at problem D, and then also, like you said, Jadine, E and F, they're not changing from feet to inches anymore. They're changing from yards into feet. The good thing is, it works the same, or it works very similarly. There's just a little bit of a difference. So yards to feet, right? I'm going to start the same way. I'm going to write my equivalent measure, my fact. Now this time I can't write 1 foot equals 12 inches because I'm not working with feet and inches. I'm working with yards, feet. So if I take a look at that paper, my conversion chart, and if I look in length, if I look under customary, I look carefully, I can find a line that says 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. One yard is equal to 3 feet. Now my fact looks a little bit different, but really the way that I solve this problem is exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Still gonna write them like if they were a fraction. 1 yard is gonna go on top. 3 feet is gonna go on the bottom. Yes, Jaylene.
Um, I'm confused.
Huh?
I'm confused.
Okay, about what?
How we got the 3 feet?
Okay. Take a look at that paper, the one I asked you to find earlier. Do you have it? Okay. If you take a look at that paper, the very first part says length, right? You see a black bar going across it that says length up near the top?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Under length, it's split into 2 parts, customary and metric. Customary is on the left side, so that's the part we're looking at. Okay? If you look on that side, it tells you how to change from one unit to the other. That's why we call it a conversion chart. Okay? So it's going to change, it's going to tell you how to change from miles to yards. It's going to tell you how to change from miles to feet, from yards to feet, and from feet to inches. Since my question is asking me about yards, feet, I need to find the fact equivalent measure for yards, feet. If I look on that chart, it tells me that 1 yard equal to, it's the same as 3 feet. So that's where I got the 3 from. I got it from that math chart.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Yes, Jadine.
I think I know the answer.
Okay, well let's work it out together then. So Jadine, I had 1 yard, but they have 5 yards. So I need to change
Yes.
from 1 to 5.
So you put 1 yard times 5.
Okay. And then what do I have to do?
Then put times 5 on the bottom so it could be equal.
Okay.
And then on the other side, put 3 times 5.
Okay, 3 times 5. And
And
if
then
I
3
do 3
times
times 5, what do I get?
15 feet.
15. Very good, Jadine. So my answer would be 15 feet. So, Jaylene, this fact here is going to change depending on what you're changing. Okay? If it's feet and inches, it's always going to be 1 foot equals 12 inches. Because 1 foot will always equal 12 inches. But if you're changing from yards to feet, it's going to be a little bit different because yards and feet are different from feet and inches. Okay?
Mr.
Yes, Jadine.
I don't get where you got the 3 feet from.
It's on that math chart. So that's what Jaylene was asking earlier. You look on the math chart, the one that we have in our math packets that tells you how to change from one unit to the other. It'll tell you that 1 yard is the same as 3 feet.
Oh, okay.
So when we're talking about conversion, it's almost like how many pieces will fit together. I want you girls to think about like well, candy bars aren't a bad example. If you go and you buy a Kit Kat, when you buy a Kit Kat bar, the big ones like from Circle K or from 7-Eleven, there's 4 sticks, right? 4 pieces that come in that Kit Kat bar. So you could break them apart and you could have 4 pieces. If you go and you buy a Hershey's bar, does it only come in 4 pieces? Well, there's a lot more to a Hershey's bar, right?
Mister, there's like 12 pieces to a Hershey bar.
Yeah, there's a bunch more pieces and they're smaller. And if I
Yeah.
go and I buy a Snickers doesn't even have more than 1 piece, right? A Snickers is all 1 piece, one thing. So those different kinds of candy have different numbers of pieces. These units of measurement are kind of similar because they don't all have the same number of pieces. So 1 foot is 12 inches, but that doesn't mean that 1 yard is 12 feet. 1 yard is actually 3 feet. That's why you want to use that chart, because I don't want you to have to remember them. I really don't, and you don't have to. You can always use that chart to help you out. So you don't have to remember how many pieces does it take to make a yard or how many pieces does it take to make a foot. Use the chart. Super, super important, and it's super, super helpful. That's why it's in the math packet for you. The good thing is some of them eventually you do end up remembering because we use them over and over again. But you don't need to remember them all just from your memory. You can use the chart. That's why it's there for you. So if you forget, don't think, oh, I have to just remember them. No, use the chart, use the paper. Why you have it. I'll never tell you guys to do something that's more difficult if there's an easier way to get the same thing. If there's something I can do to make it easier, chart is one of those ways. Problem E is very similar to problem D. We have some yards and we have feet that we need to change it to. Well, our fact stays the same. If I have 1 yard, that's the same thing as having 3 feet. 1 yard equal to, same as. I'm gonna write them like they're a fraction again. 1 yard top, 3 feet the bottom. And on the other side, I'm going to write down what they told me. They don't just have 1 yard. They have 38 yards. So what could I do what can I do to change 1 yard to 38 yards? I still want to use multiplication because multiplication will stay equal and even. But what would I have to multiply here? 1 times what would make 38? Alexa?
I forgot.
What do you think? Because Jaylene pointed out something very important earlier. So Jaylene pointed out anytime you multiply something with 1, the number will stay the same. So what could I multiply? 1 times what?
38.
38. 1 times 38 would make 38. And like we've been saying, I need to be equal. I need to be even. So that means I need to do 3 times 38. That's a pretty big number. It's bigger than the ones we have in our number song. So we're going to need to kind of do our regular multiplication here. 38 times 3. Jadine, can you help me out with this?
38 times 3 equals 124.
Okay, so let's check that. I'm going to go piece by piece, step by step, okay?
Okay.
3 times 8. What's 3 times 8, Jadine?
24.
Okay, so I'm going to put a 4. I'm going to put a 2 over here. I'm going to carry the 2.
And then
3 times 3.
9 plus 2 equals 12.
Close. 9
No,
plus
11.
2.
Equals 11.
11. So my answer would be what?
114.
114. Ooh, that's a lot. A lot of what, Jadine?
A lot of feet.
They're not yard anymore. Now they're feet. 114. That's a lot of feet. What's up, Kylie?
What are we doing?
We're doing math right now. Welcome back, by the way. Go ahead and grab your math packet, and you're going to get the paper for measurement. The page you're looking for says length for A, page 1.
I'm on it.
Okay, fantastic. So what we're doing right now is we're changing from 1 unit of length to another. So this last problem we did was yards, feet. Change from yards to feet. And the next problem is actually the very same thing.